Welcome back, tribe. I have one here from Myron. Apparently, he got into a debate with a boomer, and he says she's got 304 daughters, and he couldn't handle the truth. I watched a part of it, and I couldn't believe just how stereotypical boomer-ish this was. Like the responses were everything you expect and worse. This is a great caricature or a characterization of why society is the way it is. So boomers, prepare to be triggered. It's actually a good one.
What difference does it make if a woman sleeps with 100, 200 men? But when you get to them, let's say she's out of that phase and she doesn't want to do that anymore. She wants to get married. It's a different moment. Why would that be wrong?
Promiscuity within feminism is the reason why the nuclear family has been tarnished, and the degradation of the nuclear family destroys the society. So it's a domino effect. That is not good.
Understand, it seems narrow-minded and mean. Like, I don't care what anyone does.
We can take like women that work in sex work, for example, right? It leads to is a
Promiscuous. Shaming. What does that mean?
It means we need to have social conventions in place to dissuade women from being promiscuous.
What's wrong with women being promiscuous?
Well, there's a lot of things that are wrong with it.
Can you tell me a few?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, what it basically leads to is the destruction of the family unit, right? It leads women to not being happy. It leads women to down a road that isn't necessarily productive to their, long-term fulfillment in life. Because a lot of girls, we can take like women that work in sex work, for example, right?
Well, sex work is different than promiscuous. Someone wanting to get fucked is not the same thing as someone who sells their body. So I have to disagree with that point.
Actually, that's the definition. A woman that's a sex worker is literally the definition of being promiscuous. Her job,
a lot of
job
women
requires her to be
doing it for money. They're doing it for money. They don't care.
So you think if it's for money, it changes it?
Yeah, I do. I think if a woman likes to have sex, that she should be allowed to do it. But if a woman sells her body, that's a totally different topic. Apples and oranges for me.
Do you see what I mean? Apples and oranges. You're both having sex, like the same woman. The only difference is exchanging money. Still can enjoy it. Like sugar babies. Sugar babies are a perfect example of the difference that this guy's talking about, that it just doesn't make sense in his head. Sugar babies are prostituting themselves. That's really what it is, for money. Except they get to enjoy the lifestyle that, comes with being a sugar baby. Basically on retainer, getting screwed by some old guy. It's the same shit. Instead of seeing multiple clients, she's seeing one guy. But it's all the same. Selling your body for money. Boomers somehow... Like this is encapsulation of the mentality that we're forced to live under in society today, where it's like our greatest ally in the Middle East, female empowerment. I'm all for it. I support my son chopping his dick off. Totally, honey. You want to chop your tits off? You want to be a lesbo? You want to be a girl boss? I don't want you to depend on any man. Go to school and work really hard. All like the antithesis of what brought this country to greatness and Western society in general, the nuclear family, and by extension, the extended family as well, all under God, all that stuff, where we had civic duty still, where we still went to the churches on Sunday, where we still lived beyond ourselves, no selfishness, selfless for the community. We used to do community work. All that pretty much died out with the boomers. The most selfish generation that ever lived. This is why we are in the position we are today. It's hard for boomers to really admit that. That's when it started going down, when they were basically born. Because the boomers, so many of them were born, we had a massive upswing in the economy. And now we're seeing, as they're all dying off, there's a massive downswing in the economy. But their children aren't inheriting their wealth and their assets. Companies, corporations are, services are. All these boomers traveling the world. Fuck, my kids have worked all these years. I'm not handing them down a goddamn thing. My kids won't have any of my wealth. Like, there are services now that literally it's been projected by banks and investment firms on Wall Street that a large percentage of boomer wealth will not go to their kin. There are actual services set up right now. When they're in those Florida retirement homes and shit, they're spending thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars to be in those retirement communities, to live out the rest of their lives. Their kids get none of that money. This is like, people don't understand. Boomer wealth will not trickle down, guys. And the boomer mentality, unfortunately, that we have to live under is what you're hearing right now. This is the mentality.
Totally different.
No, they're
and I already know, not all boomers, bro. I wasn't like that. But the problem is, a lot of your peers really are that way. He might not even be a boomer. He could be like an older Gen X. But still, the older Gen X / boomers are like this.
They're pretty much the same because it has the same effect.
But that's just our opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's a distinction without a difference, right? Like, whether they're a paid sex worker or doing it for free, is still problematic on both ends, right?
Okay,
I don't think that that's conducive to a better and thriving society, to have women be basically selling their bodies. And the problem here, right, the real big problem, is we all know that prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. But the problem now is we
people that drive
incentivize
loud cars like that are really
that's the
insecure.
most annoying people
They
by
want
far.
attention. But
They're
I
the
still
worst. We
disagree with you on
incentivize and
that point.
monetize promiscuity in women, and now we have this OnlyFans culture where not only are young people want to be influencers, but young women think, oh, I don't need to go to school. I don't need to do this. I can go ahead and just sell feet pictures on the side or be a sugar baby.
But that's a small percentage of women. Most women aren't selling themselves. And you're still creating a smokescreen. A woman who likes to have sex is not the same as someone who's selling themselves, which is, again, a small percentage of the population.
I would argue.
See, but he doesn't know that there's girls now that are like 14 years old, 16 years old, doesn't matter, fresh, still in high school with 100 body counts. That could be considered extreme, but dude, like sleeping with 20, 30 people is not unusual anymore for young women. It's insane just how hypersexualized we've become and how much we've normalized having so many bodies so early by 18 years old, 19 years old. Just ask any young person today that's dating and they'll tell you it's impossible to find somebody with single-digit body count. Almost everybody has slept around in some way. And the ones that haven't, I've completely retracted themselves from this entire culture and just isolate them so they want nothing to deal with it. That's why, in an ironic way, is it Gen Alpha that's having less sex than the previous Gen Z? They're having less sex, using less dating apps in general because of how paywalled they are and degenerate they are. And how hypersexualized culture is. It's literally in their face, and all the advertisements, all the songs, the musics that they listen to, the movies that they watch everywhere. They're sick of it, dude. It's like having an opposite effect on them where they're pulling away. Like, I'm so sick of just sex being thrown in my face. I'm so sick of all of this shit. I can't get away from it. And it's having an opposite effect on them, which I say good for them.
That if you take sugar dating, selling feet pictures, monetizing on Instagram to a degree, and having your profile up with a Cash App in it, most attractive women, modern women, to some degree, has done some kind of sex work, whether it's overtly or covertly.
Where do you get that stat? That most attractive.
Well, you're never going to find a study like that because the study
so
the people that run these studies.
True. No. Here's the
thing: you're not going to get studies on everything, right? Sometimes
you brought up a study and it's not true.
I didn't bring up a study at all.
Yeah, you did. You said most women that are attractive are on OnlyFans and stuff like that.
Yes,
okay. Where's the evidence to back that up?
No. Here's the thing.
He's asserting something based on an assumption because of what you see on average, how people behave. But a boomer is like, oh, where's the data? Again, another boomer mentality. You must show me the research. Yes, the same research that told you to get a jab. The same research that probably half your homies didn't live through because they got triple, quadruple boosted. And now we ended up seeing that, some of these corporations, these pharmaceutical companies may get sued. Maybe people want to do class action lawsuits against them because of myocarditis and, sterility problems in women and a whole host of other complications that have happened since then with data and research back that has shown that there were adverse effects. And not only there were adverse effects, but those were suppressed during the trials to get the product out to market. So that's just one example. And the government totally never lies to you. And that the government hasn't politicized even something like science because 4 years ago, just a couple years ago, not even 4 years ago, just back that up. You couldn't say out loud that if you put on a dress as a man and some lipstick that you are not a woman, right? That you had to affirm what was in DSM-5, I believe, a previous classification known as gender dysphoria that was politicized out of psychology. Gender dysphoria no longer exists. It's not a mental illness classification where somebody needs to be potentially institutionalized and treated. No more, right? The boomers believe the newspapers. The boomers think what's on TV, on the news, they're credible, irrefutable sources because they grew up in an era where they were credible. You could turn on the TV at least partially credible, but journalistic integrity sort of existed during the boomer era. That's completely gone. They've been taken over, politicized, and used as a separate, like a fourth arm of the government. They inject propaganda directly into your eyeballs now. They no longer hold the government accountable. They're a mouthpiece for the government, or I should say a mouthpiece for sides, Republican or Democrat, depending on who you tune into. But at the end of the day, they serve the administration. But the boomer mind cannot comprehend how much the world has changed, how much trust has degraded in society.
You're not going to get a study on something like that because that would be considered unethical.
Why would you bring it up then?
Because, no, I'm telling you, right?
Yeah.
After me talking to well over 3,500 to almost 4,000 women, meeting women from all the different parts of the world.
I didn't hear him start 3,500 to 1,000 women?
It's 36?
And what percentage of the American women in the population? 125, 150 million? So you don't even have 1/10 of 1%.
No.
That you're calling slut
Can I finish
shaming.
my point before you, come in and, simp for the girls?
I'm sorry, what? I did not hear you. Wait, when I come in and what for the girls?
Yeah, simping for the girls. If I can go ahead and finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Finish
because
your
you've
point.
interrupted me several times. Actually, you know what? Give your position and I'll respond to you. How about that?
What's that?
Go ahead and give your position and I'll respond
Okay,
to that.
so you say that the modern marriage is falling apart?
Yes.
And you think it's because of promiscuity?
It's a component.
Well, okay, let's look at the other side. What about marriage is boring? Okay, it gets to be a drag after a while. What about people as they get older, they're less attractive, they get sick of their mate, and they want to do something exciting. Their mate gets fat, or they don't take care of their hygiene, or they just become a boring shithead. Then what? Well, should you stay with them and be miserable if they won't change? That's one thing. Another thing is, too, what difference does it make if a woman sleeps with 100, 200 men? But when
So he has daughters, right? I'm guessing these two are behind him. And notice the way he's framing his argument are from the perspective of him being a father to two daughters or a daughter, whatever, if that is. But it's just saying, he says he has 3 or 4 daughters. So he's trying to argue all those points make sense because look at how he said a shithead. So he's talking about a man getting out of shape, a man treating a woman like shit, a man being stupid in a marriage, in a relationship, a man no longer being found attractive by his wife because he's thinking from the lens, the perspective of his daughters with these future men, shitheads that they'll have to deal with. So he's actively talking against marriage from the perspective of daddy looking at his little precious angels that are probably exactly the kind of women me and Myron are describing, straight up 20, 30, 40, if not more body counts, have thought of doing OnlyFans, are getting pumped and dumped on dating apps, constantly complaining on TikTok about men, all this shit. All of them may have a sugar daddy that he doesn't know about. Because if daddy's not fronting the money, she'll go get some from Mr. Sugar. Come on, man. Unless you're actively in the, like, it would, the cold irony here is if that old dude got on a sugar website and saw his fucking daughter on there talking about, we can negotiate on our meats, first meat or some shit like that, or, only looking for a sugar, real daddies only apply, something like that. Yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine seeing your own daughter doing that shit? Jeez Louise, or coming across our OFans content. Can you imagine? Like somebody just DMing this dude like they were doing, messaging the family on Facebook when they were finding out chicks were on OnlyFans and just exposing them to their family. Imagine this guy's daughters getting exposed to him. Just as a hypothetical, because it might not happen to him, but it's happened to others. It's happened to thousands of other boomer men already. And I wonder what they think about this shit. Was it worth it? Were all those ideologies this guy's spilling in the beginning, was that shit worth it? Huh? Are we heading in the right direction? Ask yourself.
you get to them, let's say she's out of that phase and she doesn't want to do that anymore. She wants to get married. It's a different moment. Like you're in a different moment. Why would that be wrong? I mean, if someone told you can't, not you, but a male, that you can't sleep around because society thinks it's wrong, would you say, oh yeah, sure, let me just quit because you think so? That's not right. Okay, and this is, I think, just to get like a rise out of people. I don't think, do you really believe that?
Yeah.
You're really saying that?
Yeah.
That's kind of cruel, don't you think?
It's the reality. I mean,
no, it's your reality. It's not mine,
Okay.
So
all
most
right,
men, most men feel that way. You think it's okay to call women sluts if they want to sleep around? And you have the guts to answer, or you just want to be quiet? That's what I thought.
No, so it's actually interesting because what you're doing right now,
being a slut?
Right? What you're doing right now, right? Is precisely what I'm critical of. You are reinforcing bad female behavior.
Why is that bad female behavor? They get up in the morning, right? And they want to have sex.
Let's address some of the points you made
in the bed and just
let's address some of the points you made before.
Mr. Right comes along.
So first you made a claim, because you made a couple different claims. I kind of want to go one by one here. So the first you said they're bored in the relationship. Who are we talking about?
50% of American women who get divorced, they're bored in their relationship. They're sick of the same guy every day, the same stupid stories, the same fuck.
Why get married? You see what I mean? Like the sanctity of marriage to this boomer specifically means absolutely nothing. He literally said a just cause for why marriage rates are in the gutter or for divorce or why women get tired of or whatever it is. The justification is that you just get tired of your partner.
Sick of them. They want to move on.
So do you think it's justified to end the relationship because you're bored or end a marriage?
No, I think what you do is give your mate an opportunity and you tell them, listen, I'm not happy with you. You're boring. You don't cut the hairs out of your nose. We just sit around doing the same stupid shit every day. Let's do something different. And the mate won't change. Then yeah, you have the right to leave them. Or if you're not turned on by them anymore, let's say you're just sick of them. Why shouldn't you be able to move on if you give them an opportunity?
So imagine if a man makes the counter argument of saying, well, if your daughters get fat, well, if she doesn't take care of herself and shave anymore, well, if she's not cooking and cleaning like she should, well, she's not giving me an extra kid or two that I want. Well, that's it. And I'm just a divorcer and she doesn't deserve anything because, well, the relationship's not old enough, let's say, or, well, permanent alimony doesn't exist in the state. I shouldn't be forced to pay. Think about that. This is why he can't even have, an impartial argument because he has daughters and he's arguing on their behalf. He's not arguing on the behalf of, let's say, the institution of marriage. state-enforced marriage, divorce, child support courts, all that stuff, he can't see clearly. He's compromised.
To change, and they won't change.
Okay, so you're putting the blame on the men for why the women leave.
No. I'm putting the blame on both. It's a two-way street. The divorce is 50%.
It actually isn't. Women initiate about 80% of the divorces.
It's actually 67%.
No, it's not. It's between 70
and 80%. I'm a paralegal. I work in the department.
Well, you're not a lawyer. Literally, it's literally between 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Bro, there's literally statistics on divorces.
I know, and I've read them. I'm asking you.
Even if we use your number of 67%, it's still the majority of that women that end with the relationships. Men typically don't end relationships or marriages.
I agree with you. The majority of divorces are because of women, because they're sick of it.
And then the other thing too, your justification for ending it being boredom, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's a worthy reason to back out on the agreement you guys made before God. So
people back out of agreements all the time. You were just talking about nations and doing things. Okay, people change their mind all the time.
Marriage is supposed to be a religious bond between two people becoming one. If you listen to most religions, like especially within Christianity, they don't accept divorce. So again,
but Jesus said it was okay to divorce.
I think
Jesus said in the Bible it's okay to divorce.
The thing I'm trying to tell you is, being bored is not a justification for women to break marriages and disrupt families, because we live in a society that reinforces bad female behavior, where we tell women you should be happy no matter what. Fuck your obligations and your duty with marriage. And the thing is that women want to get married, but they don't want to be wives. That's the problem.
No, have to. We've want to be wives and have to.
We've removed all the institutions that used to keep women in place and keep them modest. Because now, kind of like you're doing now, we encourage women to be hoes. And
I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything. What I'm saying is, if a woman wants to have sex with a lot of guys, she has that right to do it. And if a girl doesn't want to, she values the relationship more, she should be able to do it.
And my point is, we should not be doing that.
Why not? Who's getting hurt? What's the damage?
No, we should not be doing
Why are women getting divorced? Because their wives are promiscuous? No, they're getting divorced because they're sick of each other.
Promiscuity within feminism is the reason why the nuclear family has been tarnished, and the degradation of the nuclear family destroys the society. So it's a domino effect. Like for you look at it, because here's the problem. You're looking at it from a very revolution with the birth control pill, no-fault divorce, etc.
But that did a lot of good. The 60s, the revolution did a lot of good. People opened their mind. People got to that 50s mentality. People were having a good, enjoying life. Then they went check the pen.
See, look, that did a lot of good. We were enjoying being hypersexual. We enjoyed taking down the traditions and that were handed down to us by the greatest generation that ever lived. We made progress. Don't you see? Society today is better than ever. In what metric? Economically, the average person is doing worse than ever. Sexually, worse than ever. More and more men are having less and less sex. There are more virgins today than there were back then. Less people, did we say, getting married? Less people having kids. People earning less, and that is less overall, but also in relation to adjusted for inflation. You can't afford a house anymore. You can't travel like you used to. You can't pay for your way through school, have your wife at home, 2 kids, white picket fence with a nice yard and a big dog on a factory job anymore, right? You can't go and be a server at a restaurant and pay your way through college, period. So graduating without debt anymore. So all the things that boomers are currently in power, all the policies that boomers have instituted in society today have catastrophically backfired. But he wouldn't know because he was born in probably the golden age where you couldn't, even if you stepped over your own fucking shoelaces and fell down multiple times, as long as you weren't brain fucking dead, you could come out ahead in one way or another. That's the generation he grew up in, the time period that he grew up in. And so he probably owns multiple houses. I mean, he's walking down Miami with his daughters, and he's super fucking liberal in his views. And I guarantee you he's got a ton of money in the bank, put in a ton of years at some company, comes out with a fat pension, maybe plus a 401k and some insane gains in the last 30, 40 years in stocks. And voila, dude. You have somebody that does not live in the reality of today.
Pendulum swings both ways.
I disagree with that because, like I said before, women nowadays don't have much to show for it. Why is it that despite the fact that they've made more money, more rights than ever before, more privilege, why are they still depressed? Why are they still sad? Why are women taking anti-anxiety medication? That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Despite the fact that they have the most liberty ever, depression rates have went up. Using self-medication to, drown out their pain has went up. So
more so for men. More men are depressed than women. More men commit suicide than women.
Yes. But
they're insecure little bitch.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, but the point I'm trying to make here is that women get more prescription drugs to help with their sadness, right?
And that's right. Okay, you know why that is? Because women have the guts, if they need help, to go get it. A man will rot in the street. He's too tough to go take some medicine. They will not get therapy. A woman will get therapy before a man and a medicine before men. Yeah. How many guys try to tough shit out?
That's cool. That's cool. That's not my point that they're getting the therapy. I'm analyzing why they get the therapy. And again, despite the fact that they have all the benefits of equality and they're still able to double dip and get the benefits of being a woman, they're still reporting lower levels of life satisfaction.
Did you say double dip to get the advantages of being a woman?
Yes.
Did you know that 57% of all doctors now are women? Women are skyrocketing in AI and intelligence agencies. Who says they're not happy?
You got to listen to me, man.
I am listening.
Because when I say double dip, what I mean by that is, on one hand, they could pursue a career and behave like a man. Fine. But on the other hand, they could say, you know what? I elect to leave the workforce and I want to be a stay-at-home mom. They have the choice to do either or.
No, there's a third option. Work and take care of the kids and still be happy.
Fantastic. So they have three options, which what I'm trying to explain here is despite having all these options, they're still using medication. They're still having higher levels of life dissatisfaction. So that's my point, is that despite the progression socially, they're still reporting high levels of dissatisfaction.
Right, but you do know that 20% of women have been as children, right?
And I guess
so maybe there's another reason besides divorce or promiscuity.
You're thinking them being bored is a justification. That's fine. I disagree with that.
I'm just saying it seems narrow-minded and mean. Like, I don't care what anyone does unless it's like really horrible. I'm not going to put a sign up here and call them a slut, you know?
Okay. And then you also mentioned something about the hoe phase for women, right?
I didn't say anything about hoe phase. I said if they're going through a phase where they like to sleep around.
Why is it wrong?
You called it a hoe phase. I did not call it a hoe phase.
Well, you said if they go through a phase.
No, I said if they're going through a phase, they want to sleep around. What's wrong with that? If they change one day and they want a relationship.
That's defined as a hoe phase.
Not to me. It means having a good time and enjoy life. You call it a hoe. I call it having a good time. Just like men.
Okay.
It's a two-way street. The man fucks the woman, right?
Yeah.
So the men, why aren't the men? If you call a man a slut, that's okay.
That's fine. For intents and purposes, so people understand, you're okay with women having a hoe phase. Fine.
No, I'm okay with women sleeping with who they want as long as no one's getting hurt, no one's getting a disease, they're not getting paid for it. It's okay for me. I don't care.
Progressives refuse to use the English language directly. That's fine.
What's that?
You don't like the term, that's fine. I'm going to call it a hoe phase because that's what it is.
I have two daughters. I don't like to call them hoes. Yeah.
Of course.
Look, man, if we're going to have a conversation, we don't have to be on some moral, virtue signaling stuff. You don't want to
virtue signaling, in my opinion. I just told you have two daughters. It's not virtue signaling.
I'll give
two daughters. There you go.
You're making the argument that what's so wrong with a woman going through a hoe phase? The problem with that is when a woman has a lot of different sexual partners, what ends up happening is they get this mindset of the grass is greener on the other side. And the more men that they've slept with and the more men they are with, what ends up happening is they have a bigger body of work to compare the man that they're with against. That is not good. Because
if they have a bigger body to compare against and they choose the guy, he must be better than all the guys they fuck. So he's on top of.
You see, he's so detached. They don't choose the guy that's the best. That guy already slipped through their fingers. He was never an option in the first place. He doesn't understand hypergamy, pumping and dumping. What she ends up choosing is a partner she never wanted in the first place, but was forced to settle to or for because he's the walking wallet that will pay for the lifestyle. That's what it is. A vast majority of women don't even get into a relationship or a marriage with a man that they're actually attracted to. He was just the orbiter. He was there. He was convenient. That nice guy that just sits around all day waiting on her to finally see him for his worth. That's what it is.
See, here's the thing. That's assuming women are logically sound. They're not.
Women are more logical than men. Who starts most of the fights? Who shoots most of the people? Who stabs and reacts?
I don't have
men, Jeez, who makes the best? Who caught Osama bin Laden? A woman. Okay. Women are way smarter than men when it comes to logic. Don't be ridiculous. Men are better scientists, but women are smarter when it comes to logic.
Okay, that's not true, but that's fine, regardless. Because you're coming at it from a perspective like, they should be logically sound. They've had 100 partners. If they find a nice guy, they should pick the nice guy because this nice guy is better than these 100 guys.
But why can't they pick an asshole? They don't have to pick a nice guy. They can pick a dick.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you're assuming women are rationally sound, logically sound creatures.
Yes.
The problem is they're not.
Yes.
Let me explain what I mean by this. There's a reason why the phrase, nice guys finish last, is a thing. The reason why is because a girl will have a guy that does everything that he's supposed to do. Nice guy, works, treats her like a princess, pedestalizes her, whatever. What does she do? You said it earlier. She gets bored. Well, we know that women are far more likely to get bored in relationships than men. And they're more likely to end a relationship than a man. So the problem is...
In a marriage.
Relationships and marriages, regardless, right? So, and women are far more likely to get bored in a relationship. So my argument is, when she has a bigger body
they're less logical? I say they're more logical. And they have more guts. They'll say, hey, fuck you, I'm sick of you, I'm moving on.
They're less.
Again, it's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Dude, if you understand the era boomers were raised under and the TV that they watch, like they were born and bred to simp because simping was rewarded in society. A woman would pick and settle with and was reinforced by society to stay in her marriage and make it work with the average guy. The women today are not. Social media tells women to literally use men. There's so much toxic female dating advice. They're told how to get the most out of men, how to emotionally abuse men, how to manipulate men, how to treat men like shit, how to keep everything, how to not give an inch. That's all they're taught. They're not taught how to treat a good guy, how to keep a man in a relationship long term. Even their dating advice of getting men's attention is completely fucked up. It's how to dress less, It's how to be bigger whores. It's how to do bedroom acrobatics. It's how, to jump on a meat stick. That's what they teach themselves. They don't teach themselves how to be a good partner, how to be a good wife. They'll actively say shit like, you don't get wife duties until you put a ring on it. And it sounds so stupid from the logical sex, like this guy says. Why wouldn't you show a man just how good of a wife you could be by giving him a taste of your wifely qualities first, so that he can't live without you and want to marry you? You're going to lock that shit behind a fucking paywall like you're a fucking Tinder in real life? Gotta pay more to get more. The fuck, dude? Like, people are so glued. And then the guys go overseas, do the whole passport bro thing, and get by default marriage-worthy women that treat them as if they were, wives already, showing a guy, because that's the common sense thing. You want to show a man just how good of a woman you are from the get-go. So then these women overseas are already doing wifely things, showing a man real feminine value, real feminine essence, and these guys are absolutely falling over themselves on fucking TikTok and Instagram and, on YouTube, talking about dating overseas. They're going like, holy shit, dude, oh my God, I can't believe. Oh, that's all the videos. The guys are happy. They're smiling. They got women that are showing them that kind of lifestyle and what's possible and what should be, what used to be back home, right? What could have been if you're still stuck there waiting to get out. And everybody's like, wow, I've been missing out. This is what it's like to be with a real woman. That's what they're saying. This is why men have taken a step back from dating, from marriage. They want no kids with these women. They don't want to deal with this headache. This is exactly why. Because it's not only social media. It's not only the TV. It's not only the toxic friends. It's the fucking fathers too. It's the boomer simps. We live in an age where women are spoiled daddy's little girl, daddy's little princess. Daddy handed you fucking everything, never said no, turned you into an absolute monster. You're the worst kind of woman to possibly deal with. You demand the most, but bring the least to a relationship. You have nothing to offer a man but headaches. And then everybody's surprised in society why men are going, dude, I'd rather play GTA 6 when it drops. Oh, fuck, Battlefield 6 is coming out real soon. I think a gaming console would be worth my time than getting yelled at by a fucking prissy monster that a boomer like this raised and actively upholds. Boomers have done a lot of this damage. Now you factor in, because, post-60s, this single mother household explosion that we've had. And now you get men that are actively raised by predatory mothers that suffocate the masculinity out of them. And they're so fucking broken that they either, one, don't deal with women at all because they've turned into recluses from the abuse of their mothers, or two, turn into the extreme opposite, the most horrendous form of fuckboy you can ever imagine. These guys are absolutely destroying droves of women and leaving behind nothing but broken bodies. The amount of damage there is in the dating pool today for the average man to go dip his toe in and find something decent is out of this fucking world. The statistics, dude, your probability for success is so fucking ass that men said, I'm out. Really, it's coming down to the fact that you need to either get a passport to go overseas, to bring one back, or just live there if you're blessed enough to, or literally just be like, I'm done. You know what? Apart from having fun or whatever, it's just not worth it. The risk is too high. The damage is too stacked against me. I mean, these women, everybody's got a fucking problem. The closet's filled with them. It's insane, dude. Anyways, if you want to see more of this video, head over to Myron Gaines' channel. And as usual, boys, let me see the comments first. The boomer is a great example of why weak men make hard times. Being that old and simping is insane. Yeah, he's simping for his bloodline to end, basically. His daughters, Jesus Christ. If they ever have kids at all. I want to show you guys this too. Or at least push some of these. Appreciate everybody that's been, tuning into the channel constantly, man. Head to the shop, get yourself some shirts, some coffee mugs. Hoflation would be perfect for this episode. I didn't get my Hoflation hat in time, and it's on the way, but it's got a delay. My buddy's being lazy about sending it to me. It arrived at the house already. And your Make Masculinity Great Again shirts, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys that have been getting these hats. They've been selling out like crazy, and as well as all the other apparel. Helps fund the channel. As you know, we don't do ads, but we may soon. We got some stuff cooking up, actually. Something that might help society if it takes off. We'll see. More on that later. As usual, boys, take care of yourselves.